Hello guys and welcome back, and this is gonna be our last match of the night. So it seems like we had a little bit of a stream hiccup, but it's all good. We are back immediately, so no worries about that one. But before we get into this matchup, gotta give a quick little shout out, of course, to our sponsors, Pure PC, as well as Block 101. Gotta also give props to our presenters. We got DLS Mizzle, Daks PH, as well as Ice Boy Productions. Of course, these are your motley crew, looking to make sure that you guys can get your broadcasts on. You can get everything you want from the SCPH scene and more. But hey, if you guys are just tuning on in, this is our last match of the night, and this is gonna be a TVZ between some of the best in the scene. Here we go into this one. It will be EnDerr versus PhyNix, and our first map will be Everdream LE. So seems like Everdream LE has been a standard pick for pretty much every single person in the tournaments. Everyone loves to play Everdream. Everyone feels so familiar in it. And you can really say that in a map like this, it's all about making sure that you can get the position advantage. But it is EnDerr versus PhyNix. Gonna be pretty interesting because you have your Mech Lord versus the #1 player in the PH. Question is though, has PhyNix been able to adjust his playstyle enough to make it happen, to go for the bio instead, or will he be able to force out the mech, or will it be EnDerr's show? That's gonna be the real question there. It's time to get into the game. It's time to get into this matchup. Let's move on in to the first map of 3.
Hello?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we are joined by Mr. XtinC here. What timing? Save the best for last. And here you go. I'm gonna stream it to you real quick onto, well, the Discord. Everything should be good to go. Give us a second, guys, and there we have it. But introducing first, here on the bottom left of Everdream LE, it is our Red Terran, and his name is PhyNix. And his opponent on the top right, the #1 player in the Philippines. He is the king. He has been the representative no matter what. He's on that blue Zerg, and his name, of course, is EnDerr. So welcome, XtinC. How you doing today?
What's up? Yeah, I feel great. It's good to be back, finally.
There you go.
I've been gone for almost 6 months, right?
My God. No, not 6 months, like 2. Maybe a month and a half. 6 months is 6 weeks, bro. Do you not even know your time? But if you guys don't know XtinC, he is one of our professional Zerg players as well. Really proven that he can be some of the best, but he's had some PC issues this time, so he hasn't been able to play properly. But PhyNix versus EnDerr, it's that TVZ that we always love to see in the local scene. And of course, you guys say the odds are in EnDerr's favor. So what do you think can PhyNix do in a matchup like this?
Well, as far as I know, PhyNix is one of the best talent players here in the Philippine scene right now.
Yeah.
I mean, aside for Polka, which is also a Terran player, I believe PhyNix has the capabilities of defeating EnDerr since he already picked that GM rank. That means his skill level is almost, I mean, not really on par, but he can reach that level, same as EnDerr.
Yeah, potential, right? Potential. Making it the same rank means that you can be as good as your opponents. And that's what we try to do in the quarantine tournaments, is make sure our opponents can be as the best as can be. Our community can be as best as can be. And for now, PhyNix gonna be getting that second refinery on. He's going for the 2 racks opening, interesting enough. Later factory here means that he wants to go for some early aggression, perhaps. Reaper, though, gonna be into play. EnDerr, though, in the meantime, ready with the pool, ready with the hatch. And for the time being, these are the Zerglings looking to, at the very least, go for the pokes and the prods. PhyNix still backing on away yet again. Good harassment so far. Good micro from both of our players.
Yeah, I mean, PhyNix right here is going for the classic 2-1-1 build. So he's gonna make sure he's gonna get a lot of double medevac marine drop as early as possible. So let's see if it's gonna be very effective against EnDerr.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because he's gonna have lots of units, right? He's gonna go for twin reactors. No, he's actually gonna go for the tech lab here. Factory, though, gonna get built, and as soon as he gets those medevacs, I do believe he can go for the push. But in the meantime, EnDerr right now getting that meta boost. He's going for more and more drones, feeling confident after everything has unfolded. And here we are. We are on Everdream, Mr. XtinC, and hey, status quo is still gonna be set.
Yeah. Metabolic boost about to finish up. Oops, what happened? I
Reaper.
Right.
The Reaper happened. He's just being pesky again. And this Reaper's still surviving for the time being. But as I say that, jinxing it. But
Yeah.
it at least sees
It's
it.
saw the early lair.
It's all the early
lair.
lair. I love it. So it's going to be some intel right here for PhyNix versus EnDerr's early lair. He's also feeling confident to go for the 3 pace. So this has to be Spire play by this point, right?
Yeah.
And unless...
I think this supposed to be 2-base Mura with that early lair timing. So I mean 2-base Mura versus
3 base.
what
There's
do
a
you call
third base
this?
coming. There's a third base coming, bud.
Yeah. I mean the timing.
Yeah. It's gonna
But
be interesting. It's
yeah.
it's all about making sure that he can have that momentum with that lair itself. Evo Chamber is still gonna get built, which is interesting itself. And what's gonna be the plan here for EnDerr? He's actually gonna go for the Baneling Nest first. So he's keeping up these reserves for the gas for the later Muta block. And as we say all of that, PhyNix in the meantime looking to play defensive. Supply Depot is gonna be in the way. And here we go with the shuffling of these, well, buildings. Starport now gonna get the reactor. And you were talking about the drops, right? What's gonna be the plan here for PhyNix?
So what he wants to do is get a very sharp timing with double medevac plus stim, and early stim versus this kind of build is very strong since the Zerg doesn't have enough units to be able to compensate versus that Marine. So he really needs to get a good proper micro with his units to be able to defeat this push.
Yeah. One good push here from PhyNix might end this game on a high note for him, and especially if this is going to be EnDerr's time to decide to go for the Spire itself. But he's realized the situation, he's got enough of that intel, and for the time being, he decides to go for the Baneling Nest to try and reinforce. I like the call here from EnDerr. He's also getting that creep spread all throughout his bases to make sure they're all connected, allowing the links to get there as quick as possible. Hooks, though, going to be an upgrade he's trying to get for, but unfortunately, it's not going to come anytime soon. And here comes PhyNix. Flight of the Valkyrie is going to be into play. Marine's going to get dropped on down. A little bit of a push. A little bit of a push, though. 16 Marines with 2 medevacs. What are the odds here for Mr. PhyNix, bud?
I think what EnDerr needs to do is to be able to kill these medevacs. These medevacs are crucial to this push. Once the medevacs are gone, it's over. The push is over.
Yeah,
So the Queens are gonna target the medevacs.
Oh, the Banelings though! Oh my god, that's gonna be huge! Onto the west side! And EnDerr allowed to get that one for free! And this is the worst case scenario here for PhyNix. He loses a medevac, he loses all the Marines, and EnDerr deciding to just use the toilet here and go for as many creep tumors as possible. With a link main composition, it's all about speed, it's all about making sure that the flood is there to get the swarm on. And this is looking good for EnDerr so far. The creep spread is there, he's getting more of these Banelings, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him just keep up with the pressure on the ground.
Yeah, good play there by EnDerr. I mean, he was able to defend even with have a low unit capacity. I mean, I think PhyNix has got an army lead of almost 20 when that fight started, and he was able to defend with such efficiency.
A little bit of PhyNix also letting it happen. We didn't see the load to save those Marines whatsoever, just slamming on down to the west concave of those Marines. And goodbye and good riddance to all the guns ablazing. This is why you gotta say that gun bans should work out. But PhyNix in the meantime, he's changed it up from the Marines. He's gone into the Hellions. He's also going for Liberators, and it seems like it's gonna be PhyNix trying to go for speed. Still though, these are deserving getting position. There we go this time. PhyNix gonna be saving the day, but some Marines do fall. And again, our Red Terran beaten on back as he has gone into a mech build behind all of this. Interesting.
This word.
Interesting.
From 2-1-1 build into mech. It's very balls here from PhyNix.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna go for a mech transition, right, you don't need to go for that 2 racks, especially if you're not gonna be effective with those Marines.
Yeah, if he could have gotten a big damage from those 2-1-1 push, I think it would be effective. But as of right now, losing those first few Marines plus a medevac, it really slows down his economy at the same time his army count.
Yeah, it feels like the Hellions here are for the cleanup rather than the big bulk of damage, and now he's forced to use them in the front line. The Banelings are happy to slam into them. Oh my god, big booms here from the side of EnDerr. PhyNix in the meantime backing on away. Still the Hellions are in position, and PhyNix has to mark this right if he wants to make sure that he was not going to hit by the burst damage. But these Banelings are getting some value and more. They get a few SCVs along the way, and bang for your buck is the way to go here for EnDerr. Absolutely economical straights here for PhyNix.
Yeah. So he's able to defend that initial attack, but right now EnDerr is at 5 bases already. Wow.
While all of this is happening, this is when
What
EnDerr
happened?
decides. You know what's happening? He's getting Aspire here, XtinC. He's getting more bases. He's getting the creep spread. He's trying to get half of the map at the very least. And EnDerr is using the Concave Queens to basically get every tumor that he will like. +1 though gonna be online. We are gonna see
11
Liberators as
mutants.
well. But heavy mutas are coming online. But I do like the fact that PhyNix has these libs in a way. Because if EnDerr doesn't actually go for the split onto those mutas, they're going to take a lot of concentration damage. And even though Liberators aren't as good as well, if you remember Brood War Valkyries, they're still pretty potent with those missiles up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, Valkyries are very, very good anti-air, but only as anti-air. They're not
Yeah.
really good at ground. Liberators is a two-way. I
Exactly.
mean, it can be harassed, it can be zoned, so it's a really good improvement. But
It's
right
so
now,
good.
11 mutants here for EnDerr.
Yeah,
Let's
this
see if we
might be
can get
good.
enough damage.
Find out. As into the south side we go, we are
Does
going to
he
get
have
+1 as well. He's trying to get as many upgrades as he can. He has +2 though on the ground, and he has the hooks. He has Carapace for the...
Does he have turrets?
He has turrets though, a few turrets in position. Anti-air gonna be in order, but Liberator is trying to intercept, and here comes
Here comes
the
the
salvo.
Liberator.
That's actually something we don't see too often. I like the hit there, but
Liberator
PhyNix
versus Muta.
PhyNix has to be very careful about this one, XtinC. It's
Attack
all
on the
about
third
this
base.
roll. And there we go with the attack onto third base again with the links, as you said. Ended up backing on away. There we go with the books and prods. 11
And
SCVs have
SCVs,
gone
11.
down. That's a big hit
PhyNix.
here from EnDerr. And PhyNix answering back with the Liberators, but still too many SCVs have fallen. And PhyNix right now gonna be a quarter down onto that worker count. Not bad. Not bad whatsoever there. And PhyNix, at the very least, able to hold, but he needs to be a little more proactive, especially keeping the third base up and running. Unfortunate there to lose that many SCVs, and when the rich get richer, this is just EnDerr going to be able to get such a good economy that he's building even 10 more mutas here, Mr. XtinC. He's getting all he can and more up in the air. These
Oh no, the
bats
tank.
are just absolutely tearing up house, and these tanks are going to get torn apart. Here we go, the win, the Liberators
Oh.
yet again, trying to defend them off. But it feels like we're seeing shades of the previous match between Pobs and Sifu. It's EnDerr keeping up the pressure, and PhyNix is unable to do anything but defend.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen this composition yet. Like, mass liberators and tanks and hellbats.
And Thor.
It's very unusual. And Thor, a single Thor.
No, he's going for Thors. So he's gotten to that point. We're basically seeing mech with anti-air. That's what we're seeing right now here, XtinC. We're seeing an old school mech build. We're seeing 3 factories, more than 5 factories rather, going online in 3 base. And the thing about PhyNix's build is this is something he's always been comfortable with. He made it to GM with mech. He is the mech player of the Philippines, that's for sure. Question is though, is it gonna be fast enough to keep up with Nutas? Because EnDerr is just like, hello, good sir. I see that you're trying to get a 4th base. Would you mind not letting that happen? And while the Liberators are gonna be getting in the way, this is just so many mutas right now, and with Zergings also don't amplify. Here we go with a brawl. Seems like EnDerr has just had enough. He has just decided to get rid of Liberators there. And while we see the Lings are gonna get cleaned up rather by the Hellbats, PhyNix still losing out on the air battle, and here comes the pokes to the prods again.
Look at the tech switch. 19 roaches on the way here for EnDerr.
He's getting some roaches, interesting enough, but he's still committing on the Lings. +3/+3 Adrenal Glands and Vipers into play here as well. Gonna be interesting with the Clouds, gonna be helpful to keep things alive. But here comes the mutas yet again. Hit and run tactics here from EnDerr, bothering PhyNix as much as possible. PhyNix, so in the meantime, with a big bulk,
He
and it
doesn't
seems
care.
like he doesn't care anymore, right? This is the push where PhyNix is either gonna make it or break it. And EnDerr with the substantial lead. Seems like this can be his game to win if he defends against this bulk.
But this is a huge army to push into.
It is time for PhyNix to prove his worth as SCVs are dying here on the main base. These mutas
Can
are
he
just
defend
feasting
this?
onto the carapaces. He's just feasting onto
Ravagers
the
are on.
vehicles. And here comes the Ravagers throwing down those biles. Roach is going to be on the east side. Veiling starting to go for the push. Hellbats go pretty tanky. But this is just a handful of doors here for PhyNix. And I don't think he has the numbers that he wants to go for the push. C-Stash right now trying to make it back. Liberators making defenders
Here
zones.
comes
There we
the
go, the
Vipers.
Vipers. And that is going to be the Clouds onto the floor, allowing the Zerg to get even closer. Abducts are even into play. And this might be it. And they're cleaning up house, using the spell casting there, using the utility of the Viper to the best degree. And this should be game, set, and match unless PhyNix can whip out a miracle against these mutas. This is still SCVs falling. And overall,
PhyNix
EnDerr.
power overwhelming.
Oh my god. And this is just EnDerr's way to show up into a tournament.
He's just way too good. He's way too good.
so much answers there. And while we see missile turrets getting cleaned up, where do you think was the tipping point of this game? That is gonna be the torso dropping on down real quick. We see the Roaches also go for the push, and while the Liberators are actually fending off the Mutas for the time being, it's still EnDerr keeping up double on the workers, almost double on the army, and he's just taking his sweet time to build some tech instead, get all the upgrades he can. But as back to my question there, XtinC, tipping point of this game for EnDerr.
I think that's the early part of the game where
SCG is called. Yeah, go ahead.
where he loses the 2-1-1 push. I think that's a tipping point there. I mean, he lost a lot of Marines. He lost a medevac. He was supposed to do a follow-up push with Hellions, but since he lost that initial Marine count, it's all over. The push is over. He's way behind. His third base is behind, and they're just free to do everything he wants.
Yeah, that's so true. And EnDerr, the timings were so on point, right? We were thinking he was gonna go for a 2-base or a 3-base Spire, but then he did delay it to make a 3-base Spire after getting the Bailiness because he knew an attack was coming. He used that intel from the 2 racks to actually set up and defend against that Marine push, and it was the best case. Not only did he catch a medevac, but he cleaned up the Marines and the sweeping Hellions that was supposed there for the cleanup. Didn't work out whatsoever, and from that point on, it was just EnDerr in the lead. Was that like 5 base versus 2 versus 3, right? For
5 bases versus 3. 5.
It's ridiculous how much of a lead our Zerg player was able to keep up, and that is really just the power of EnDerr. This is why he is the best player in the scene. He has made it in the big leagues and more. He has been really impressive into the latest circuits. I believe was around the top 4. Was it top 4 or top 8 in the regional parts of DreamHack Fall? So it really goes to show that
top 4.
Yeah, top 4. And there you go, it's a third caster, it's the cat of XtinC. But at the same time, back to my point, it really feels like EnDerr is just getting better and better, and everyone has to watch out for him because he's not looking for any kind of, mercy for anyone else. He is just looking to destroy and dominate, and he does it in such a clean fashion. But now we are going to get into our second map. It's great to have you here, Kent, by the way, but Ice and Chrome will be next on the list. Any thoughts, though, for this map?
Ice and Chrome, I think it's a very, very good map as for mech. Yeah, it's a good map for mech with all the tight corners and the high ground, the ledges. It's very good for mech because you can set up the tanks, and the Zerg can really can really push into that line of tanks.
And it feels like it's also a macro-based map, so it does feel like there's a lot of space for PhyNix to work with. But we've seen EnDerr just basically take every single base he could there on Everdream. Will it be the same case here on Ice and Chrome? It's high time now to get into the game. Let's get into the matchup with our Zerg, a map ahead in this best of 3. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are again. Match points here for our final game of the night. And it's been great to see some of our Gold to Diamond players get representation. Some of our Masters Plus players also show up as well. But here we are to wrap things up around number 2. And introducing first, on the southwest side of Ice and Chrome, it is our Red Terran looking to be the Mech Master yet again. His name is PhyNix. And his opponents here on the top right instead, one map ahead, and pure and utter dominance is his basic game plan. His name is EnDerr. Here we are, Kent. Game number 2 out of 3. We talk about Ice and Chrome. You can see the macro-based heaviness of it. And EnDerr immediately going for the hatchery first. Knows he has a lot of space to work with. In the meantime, PhyNix going for the barracks up. What do you think is the plan here for PhyNix this time? Will it go for the 2-1-1 again? I feel like, though, it's more of the standard 1-1-1 double triple expand if need be.
I think I like to see a fast third CC.
Yeah.
If he's brave enough to do it. I mean, if you're against EnDerr, you should really take risk. I mean, you should not try to defeat him where you try to cheese him out or do a simple timing, because he might already be expecting that. He might be expecting, like, if I know I'm better than you, so I know I'm gonna expect you doing something cheesy against me.
Yeah, knowledge is unlimited, right? It's like he can figure out whatever you're doing from small little missteps, small little nuances, and it really goes to show that's what our Leah boy here is all about. As he was mentioning, he's been the star of the show every single time he's been on the Philippine stage and more. And the quarantine tournament is no different with 2 championships under our belt. I believe he is the reigning champion right now of quarantined tournament in the Masters Plus bracket. So looking to defend that crown, looking to do all he can and more to represent and still have fun with the scene, as PhyNix now is gonna go for the 1-1 expand, gonna get that factory on a proper time this time. He's going for that second refinery as well. Seems like things are pretty standard in the home front so far.
Yep, so pretty standard here. Let's see if he's gonna go for a faster TC or standard starport.
Time is everything. I think he's probably gonna go for the starport before that CC. Like it feels like it's just been more meta again to go back to the 1-1-1. There was a time though, right? There was a time where you go for 3 base first before starport, which is actually pretty interesting. But I guess we're wrong because he goes for the second factory, so we will see PhyNix brute force his way to do his own style. He will go for the double factory. He's gonna get a big number of Hellions. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get an armory as well to allow Hellbats to happen. Question is though, does EnDerr see this coming? Doesn't know of it as of yet. Might have an inkling though of whatever PhyNix wants to do. But things are pretty quiet here so far for the Zerg. And yeah, he's just sticking on 2 base for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, EnDerr needs to scout this. If he sees this fast factory, he might be able to adjust his build properly, because I think this is gonna be a cyclone push if he gonna get Tech Lab or no.
We'll find out. He's not going for the add-on as of yet, but he's getting a big bulk of Hellions. And as we say that, there you go, Tech Lab going to be into play. Might be those Cyclones. It will be Hot Wheels though, looking to ground on down and looking to just basically make mince out of anything else. But as you say that, Lair Tech going to be next on the list here for EnDerr. He's also going to go for the Baneling Nest, and we've seen him be very effective against Hellions with Banelings for quite a while, especially when they have the hook upgrade. But for the time being, things are looking good here for PhyNix. 4 Hellions might be able to get some good damage onto the mineral line.
Yeah, let's see if this has get enough damage here. Oh, getting in tumor, that's nice.
That's nice. Can't go wrong with that. Make sure that the expansion isn't going to be connected as quick as possible, but EnDerr says, okay, you will break that one down, but I still have queens here, and I'm good. I'll put 2 more. For every one you break, you know, it's like a Hydra. When you cut one down, 2 more shall take its place. Hail Hydra or something like that, guys. But in any case...
I was taking Hydra of the Zerg. You're talking about the Hydra mystical creature.
Dude, if the Hydra could split into 2, that would be broken. That would be freaking broken.
That would be sick, man. That will make Zerg cool.
That would make Zerg cool, but it's still is Protoss still OP after everything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Protoss still OP.
Good balance shots.
No, wait. I think Protoss is very OP.
Very OP. Yeah, okay, good to know. So guys, if you don't know XtinC, he is a Zerg player, and the thing about him is he is the biggest one to say Protoss OP no matter what. No matter the context, he will say that Protoss is OP. So you're happy that there's no Protoss right now in this matchup, right? Because there's no unfair faction in this game.
Yeah, because as you can see in the Gold to Diamond, I think Protoss is dominating, right? Or no? I haven't watched it yet.
That's true. That's a good stat, but it really goes to show that it's all about that control. And here on the Masters Plus, our Terrans and our Zergs can get some good control on, but the Great Wall of Supply Depots now saying that there is no way you're gonna get in here. The Zerglings are gonna get cooked up to oblivion, and this time EnDerr is gonna go for a more standard 3 base Spire play. It feels like he's gonna go for the Muta Harassment, not just to destroy his opponent, but at the very least poke and prod. But as we say that, Blue Flame will be going online, and
Thor.
It's a very fast Thor, so PhyNix is anticipating the Mutas, and he's gonna get a big bouncer to protect his mineral lines.
He doesn't have a 3rd CC yet, right? Does he have a 3rd CC?
No, he's sticking on 2 for now. So he's playing a little more defensive. He's going for his own 3rd CC by the natural, but it doesn't mean that's gonna be ready as of yet. This does give EnDerr some time to keep on building up, as PhyNix is just going for the aggro instead. Blue Flame trying to do all DP as it can and more.
So Blue Flame plus Thor. So what kind of is he gonna go for a big push, anti-muta push?
I don't really think he's just using these Thors to protect himself against Mutas. And on paper, it works. You just put 1 Thor down, and you put them by the middle line. You pick the pretend they're a big SCV, and they can just shut down any of these Muta play. But unfortunately for PhyNix right now,
no Thor here.
The Thor is not ready as well. The Thor hasn't come yet. Sometimes you gotta go for a phone call to Asgard because someone needs to bring down Mjolnir, but it's not happening till we see PhyNix finally get them onto the outskirts. And it seems like PhyNix did want to use them for the attack. Just didn't pan out, As I said, though, it'd be a lot better for him to just use these as bouncers for the time being, because he's not going to have a big bulk of Thors as of yet.
Yeah.
And these Hellions can actually go for quick little cycles, quick little drive-bys to get all the DPS they can and more against these mineral lines.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he needs to do is put one Thor in each base. As of right now, he's not doing anything about them. He's just pushing them in the front, and these mutas are running a havoc in those mineral lines.
In
Third
any case,
base.
though, EnDerr gonna be looking to, at the very least, harass this third base, prevent it from coming, and oh my god, opportunity is knocking here for EnDerr. These are the links right now, looking to enter yet again. Flyer +1 though, gonna be going online, and here we go with the nipples, and this is the Mutas also doing the same thing, two-prong attack. Main base already losing out on the SCV there as they are pulled. And for the time being, the means of production, the means of minerals have been slowed down by EnDerr again. This guy is unrelenting here, bud. It really feels that no matter what, EnDerr is always gonna be looking to bother you with whatever you're trying to do. And I like the call, though, for PhyNix to put those Thors in defensive positions, because you can see so much damage being done. It's such a bursty unit against Mutas, and at the very least, PhyNix is gonna have something. But it's the same problem here from what we saw a while ago. These Thors are very slow, and they will take their sweet time to make it across the map.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think what he needs to do right now is, I think what Phoenix gonna do right now is gonna make another big ball of army, like one death ball army, and try to kill EnDerr again. I think
Yeah.
that's his plan here.
That has to be the only plan, because he's playing the mech, and we all know that he is the mech god of the Philippines. But sometimes the problem is when you're trying to force your own style, it just takes way too little, way too late. And here we go with PhyNix, though, gonna be sending out these Thors, but unfortunately,
Whoa.
this is no, he's not in the proper missile mode as of yet, because the Thors come out with the other style, and this is just the Mutas cleaning up house in the small little opportunity that PhyNix has afforded
Whoa.
EnDerr. And here
Thor
we go
run
again.
by.
Thor run by. No, it's not. It's just marching on forward. The Hellbats are down as well. Roaches and Ravagers also going to be in position. And they're not making a concave. Cleans up the front line. And this might be it. It is just damage on both fronts. EnDerr is looking to defend his crown. And the first casualty of his warpath might be PhyNix. As here comes EnDerr again. Cleaning up these big units. The Mutas also bothering the command centers. This is PhyNix now losing out yet again. And sometimes your style is out of the meta, and it's either you adjust to it or you will tear yourself apart trying to make things work. Here comes the Salvador, but I do believe it's a little too late, and this should be game. 7 army to 66, double the worker count. GG is called, and EnDerr will move on to the next round.
Wow, good games, good games.
And
Nice effort there from Phoenix. I mean, he might be a mech god, but he's facing the god of StarCraft in the Philippines. So
that's so true.
who is better? I think I'm gonna go with the god with of the Philippines.
Of course. When you know that this man has been the PH rep, he won us a gold medal in these SEA games, for God's sake. So it goes to show who is the master of StarCraft here. And if you are gonna be playing against EnDerr, I don't disagree with I don't disagree with what PhyNix did, because he knows his A game is the mech. Problem is the mech is not the A game right now, so he needs to be having both, right? He needs to have both mech being the A game and him being on his A game to really put a candle against EnDerr. And it just goes to show that skill disparity is something that every single person here in the Philippines is trying to basically bridge against EnDerr. So anyone giving it a try against EnDerr is already commendable. There are good choices here and there, and it's an interesting call. Hellion Thor, not bad. I don't think it's wrong, in all honesty, especially if he's going for Spire. I really felt that, though, he should have put those Thors in defensive positions and then hurt his opponent more with the Hellions and the Blue Flame, because he had a really good angle of attack there. He had a good time to actually bother EnDerr for quite a while he was expanding those spaces, and it felt like there for PhyNix missed opportunities on both fronts. He could have actually cleaned up the mutable if he just had the right mode, if he had the right idea on the micro, right? Like when the Thors came out, that could have been something, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough damage, and you can see that small little nuances like that is where EnDerr is able to beat out everyone else.
Yeah, I think his build is cool. I mean, I think it's effective on paper, but the problem is, like, EnDerr just have the proper reaction to his build. I mean, he's been able to scout, and PhyNix just make too many mistakes. I mean, not too many. I mean, little mistakes that has been capitalized by EnDerr.
This is the case sometimes. And there you go, guys. EnDerr with a clean 2-0 there to cap off our night. It's been a great one, though. And congratulations to our Masters Plus winners. We saw Sifu, we saw Bayagster, and we saw EnDerr move on to the next round. So we'll be seeing them into round number 3 in the upper bracket, and everyone else will be dropping on down to the lower bracket there. And we had 6 amazing matches for you all to enjoy for tonight. A pretty solid broadcast all throughout. And Mr. XtinC, anything you loved about that series that you were able to catch?
Come again? Sorry.
What did you like about the series that we just casted?
I think I like the innovation there from PhyNix. I mean, I haven't seen those builds from him. I mean, he's my practice buddy as a Terran for his ZVT, and I haven't seen those builds yet. So I'm kind of surprised he's been cooking these special builds against players.
I mean,
So
it makes sense. It makes sense, especially against Zerg. If you're able to catch him off guard, and with the Hellions doing enough damage with Blue Flame, it might actually work. But a little more refinement will go a long way, and sometimes it really is just that disparity that does hurt you in the end. But that is gonna be that for our broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go, though, quick little update yet again on our new schedule. And as you can see, we are going to be including round number 4 and round number 5. Now, our grand finals will be both on the 26th this time, back-to-back with those best of 5, which will, of course, be live compared to all the replays we've been doing. And at the very least, if you do want to hop on in, check out the Discord in SCPH. Just use the command up there, !SCPH, to get that link, to get a link to some of the socials here and there. And something to also take note that, well, here in the quarantine tournament, we just want to make sure that everyone has a fighting chance. Everyone is here to play and stay. We have the Gold to Diamond bracket as well as the Master Plus bracket to make sure everyone can join if they're able to compete. Of course, though, quarantine tournament number 5 is brought to you by Pure PC and Block 101. Without these guys, this wouldn't have been possible. So big shout outs to our sponsors every single time, supporting the community, supporting the game, and making sure Quarantined is a real place to be. This is presented to you by DLS Missile, Daks PH, Ayos Buhay Productions. And well, Mr. Kent, it's time for us to wrap things up. I gotta say, though, real quick, all I gotta say is it's been fun. It's been a pretty solid session, and I do believe our next session will be on the 16th, if I remember correctly, for the end of round number 3, unless there are also any other issues. We had to delay round number 2 today, guys, because we are making sure our catalog of replays were actually correct, and hopefully we get our replays earlier this time. But besides that, it's been great. I was able to cast with Mr. Malapate, we're in Gold to Diamond, and we were able to have XtinC here for our final Master Plus brackets. Really solid, well, setup. And how about you, Kent? Anything you want to say before we head out?
I hope you guys can finally watch me again play next quarantine tournament. That is all.
That is all. I love
It's.
it.
I really miss this game. I really miss playing right now. I'm really savoring my new gotten PC. So I'm finally being able to practice StarCraft 2 again.
Yeah. Can't wait. It's malapit na, guys. So
Yeah.
the return of XtinC is gonna be coming for you all very, very soon. But thank you, guys.
Shout out to Snapcast who beat me on ladder the other day.
Oh yeah, you
Shout
told
out
me the
to you.
story in between, and you were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, the Snapcast guy is pretty good." Unfortunately, though, I do believe he fell to Masami. We can always check the bracket for that. And well, it always just shows that anything can happen in the quarantine setup. And hey, it's great to have all of you here for us. And hey, okay, go, Mr. Kent. Anything else you want to say? You seems like you have so much you want to tell to the audience here.
If you're a diamond player, please consider joining the Masters bracket by climbing to Masters 3. Just choose your way to Masters and join us here because it's much more fun than Diamond, Gold to Diamond, because the skill cap is very, very much different. At the same time, you can get more quality games. It's much more fun.
And of course, that bigger prize pool there on the Masters Plus
Yeah,
side.
bigger prize pool.
And for Gold to Diamond players, of course, it's all about getting better and better. It's a little bit of a training pool, and as well as for you to meet each other. That being said, though, this is our second broadcast of Quarantine Tournament number 5. We'll see you guys on our round 3 broadcast ASAP as soon as possible. And I've been Daks. I've been joined by Vic there on the Gold to Diamond, and I've been joined by Kent here in Masters Plus brackets. We'll see you guys into the next one. Have a good night, ladies.
Good night.